Hi, and welcome to the opening of the 33rd and 34th pack from the Ikoria booster box, and also including the pack from the Throne of Eldraine and Theros Beyond D bundle packs. So let's get this almost at the end of the box and the bundle packs here. So, all right, let's get those out of the way. And again, let's do it this time just this way. So let's take it from more or less a chronological point of view. So let's take Throne of Eldraine, Theros, and then to Ikoria at the end. All right. Let's see what we have in the pack. Oh, this is a little bit more tight than all the others. So there we go. All right. The first card we have here is a green common creature, a giant knight. It's a 4/4, the Garenbrig Paladin. So it costs 4 and a green to cast. It has adamant, so if at least 3 green mana was spent to cast this spell, Garenbrig Paladin enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. And it says Garenbrig Paladin can't be blocked by creatures with powers 2 or less. I will put it up here and there. Then we have a common black creature, the Spirit Knight. It's called Lost Legion. It's a 2/3 creature that costs 1 and 2 black to cast, and it says when Lost Legion enters the battlefield, you can scry 2. So there I go. Then we have Merchant of the Veil, a red common creature, a human peasant. So, and it has the adventure ability. It's a 2/3 that costs 2 and a green to cast, and it says for 2 and a green, discard a card and then draw a card. And the adventure ability, an instant haggle for 1 red. You may discard a card. If you do so, draw a card. Then we have Charmed Sleep. So it's a blue common enchantment aura that costs 1 and 2 blue to cast. It's an enchant creature, and it says when Charmed Sleep enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. So again, kind of a neutralizer horror there. Then we have a white common creature, an ox, the Bartered Cow. So it's a 3/3 that costs 3 and a white to cast, and it says when Bartered Cow dies or when you discard it, create a food token. So great for getting those food tokens. Then we have Scalding Cauldron. So it's an common artifact, cost 1 to cast, and for 3 and tapping it, it says sacrifice Scalding Cauldron. It deals 3 damage to target creature. Then we have a black common artifact equipment, the Giant's Skewer. So it costs 1 and a black to cast, and it says equipped creature gets +2/+1, and it also says whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a creature, create a food token, and it has an equipped for 3. And we have a green common, a green common creature, an elf warrior, Wildwood Tracker. So it's a 1/1 that cost one green to cast, and it says whenever Wildwood Tracker attacks or blocks, if you control another non-human creature, Wildwood Tracker gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So kind of a great little boost there. Then we have Runaway Together. So it's a blue common instant that costs 1 and a blue to cast, and it says choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. Then we have a white common enchantment. The Fortifying Provisions. So it's costs 2 and a white to cast, and it says creatures you control gets +0/+1 when Fortifying Provisions enters the battlefield. Create a food token. So again, great for those food tokens. And then we have Fairy Vandal, the first uncommon. It's a blue uncommon creature, a fairy rogue. It's a 1/2 creature that costs 1 and a blue to cast. It has flash, flying, and also says whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Fairy Vandal. So that could be a great creature for kind of a drawing deck. Then we have a green uncommon creature, a human berserker. It's the Flaxen Intruder. It's a 1/2 creature that costs 1 green to cast, and it says whenever Flaxen Intruder deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do, destroy target artifact or enchantment. And it also has the adventure ability as a sorcery, Welcome Home, for 5 and 2 green, that says create 3/2/2 green bear creature tokens. So could be pretty cool for a bear deck with that adventure ability. And then we have a uncommon multicolor enchantment, the Improbable Alliance. So it costs 1 blue and 1 red to cast, and it says whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. And for 4 and a blue and a red, draw a card, then discard a card. But again, this could be pretty cool actually with the other one that we had to create fairies. And then we have Happily Ever After. Oh, I do like this set with the inspiration from fairy tales. Oh, it's a rare enchantment, white enchantment, that costs 2 and a white to cast, and it says when Happily Ever After enters the battlefield, each player gains 5 life and draws a card. All right. And then it says at the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 5 colors among permanents you control there are 6 or more card types among permanents you control and or cards in your graveyard, and your life total is greater or equal to your starting life total, you win the game. So it has kind of a win condition on this. Cool. And then we have a plains and a mouse token. All right, and then let's get on to the Theros. So going to a little bit newer cards chronologically. Oop, there we go. All right, let's see what we have here. The first card from Theros Beyond D pack is the Omen of the Hunt. It's a green common enchantment that costs 2 and a green to cast. It has flash, and it says, when Omen of the Hunt enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. And for 2 and a green, it says sacrifice Omen of the Hunt, scry 2. Then we have a white common instant, the Flicker of Fate. So it cost 1 and a white to cast, and it says when exile target creature or enchantment, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Then we have Aspect of the Manticore, a red common enchantment aura, costs 2 and a red to cast. It has flash, enchant creature, and says when Aspect of the Manticore enters the battlefield, enchanted creature gains first strike until end of turn. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0. Then we have a black common enchantment creature, a nymph. It's the Lampad of Death's Vigil, I guess. So it's a 1/3 creature, enchantment creature that costs 1 and a black to cast. And for 1, sacrifice a creature, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So this could be pretty cool in a multiplayer game, and like sacrificing small token creatures or something like that. It could gain you a lot of life actually. Alright, then we have Elite Instructor. It's a blue common creature, a human wizard. It's a 2/2 creature that costs 2 and a blue to cast, and it says when Elite Instructor enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. Then we have Aurora's Blessing, a red common enchantment aura that costs 3 and a red to cast, and it says enchant creature you control. When Aurora's Blessing enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent control, and enchanted creature gets +1/+1. Then we have a green common creature, a centaur shaman, Nylea's Huntsman. So it's a 4/3 creature that costs 3 and a green to cast, and it says when Nylea's Huntsman enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is your devotion to green. So each green in the mana cost of permanent you control counts toward the devotion. So if you were if you didn't know what devotion was. Then we have a Glory Bearers, a white common enchantment creature, a human cleric. It's a 3/4 creature that costs 3 and a white to cast, and it says whenever another creature you control attacks, it gets +0/+1 until end of turn. So a good boost for toughness there for your creatures. Then we have a black common creature. We have the Temple Thief. So it's a human rogue. It's a 2/2 that costs 1 and a black to cast, and it says Temple Thief can't be blocked by enchanted creatures or enchantment creatures. Oh, okay. So that's pretty cool if you're playing against a lot of enchanted creatures or enchantment creatures, I guess. Then we have a blue common instant, the Thirst for Meaning. So it costs 2 and a blue to cast, and it says draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an enchantment card. Oh, okay. You could actually only discard 1 if it's an enchantment. All right, and then we have the uncommon, first uncommon from Theros, the Dawn Evangel. So it's a white enchantment creature, a human cleric. It's a 2/3 creature that costs 2 and a white to cast, and it says whenever a creature dies, if an aura you control was attached to it, return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. So great for an aura-based deck. Then we have a green uncommon instant, the Mystic Repeal. It costs 1 green to cast, and it says put target enchantment on the bottom of its owner's library. So pretty good to kind of get an enchantment out of the way easily and for a low mana cost. Then we have a uncommon artifact vehicle, the Thundering Chariot. So it's a 3/3 vehicle, cost 4 to cast, and it has first strike, trample, and haste. And it has crew for 1. So tap any number of creatures you control with power 1 or more. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. So that's the crew ability there. And then we have for the rare, the Shadow Spear. So a legendary artifact equipment, cost 1 to cast, and it says equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample and lifelink. And for 1 mana, permanents your opponent's control loses hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, and it has equipped for 2. Very cool. Then we have a forest and a token card. All right, and getting into the 33rd pack from the Ikoria booster box. Let's see what we have. And I am really looking forward to the next set, the Core 21 set, with all of the cat and dog abilities and kind of companionship that's in that deck. That looks pretty cool. All right, let's see here. For Ikoria, the 33rd pack, the first common, we have a black common creature, a human assassin, the Lurking Deadeye. So it's a 4/2 creature, costs 3 and a black to cast. It has flash, and it says when Lurking Deadeye enters the battlefield, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. So you can pretty easily take out a creature if you dealt damage to it with this. And it has flash, so you can cast it as an instant. That's pretty cool. All right, then we have Toward the Enemy. So it's a green common instant that costs 2 and a green to cast, and it says prevent all damage that will be dealt this turn by creatures your opponents control. So kind of a protection card. Then we have Facet Reader. So it's a blue common creature, a human wizard. It's a 1/2 creature that costs 1 and a blue to cast, and it says for 1 and tapping it, draw a card, then discard a card. Then we have a red common sorcery, Go for Blood. So it's cost 1 and a red to cast. And it says target creature you control fights a target creature you don't control. And it has cycling for 1. Then we have the Divine Arrow, a white common instant, cost 1 and a white to cast, and it says Divine Arrow deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. A good little zap there from white. Then we have a Bushmeat Poacher. So it's a common creature, black creature that cost 3 and a black to cast. It's a 2/4 human soldier, and it says for 1 and tapping it, sacrifice another creature, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness, and you get to draw a card. Pretty cool if you can kind of get the toughness boosted on a creature and get a huge life advantage there. Then we have the Eye of Sauron. No, just kidding. This is the Fire Prophecy, a red common instant that costs 1 and a red to cast, and it says Fire Prophecy deals 3 damage to target creature. You may put a card from your hand to the on the bottom of your library. If you do, draw a card. But as you can see, though, that fiery eye can't help to kind of think of the Eye of Sauron. And then we have a black common creature, a Nightmare Pangolin. So it's the Gloom Pangolin. It's a 1/5 creature, and it costs 2 and a black to cast. Then we have a green common creature, an elemental, the Fertilid. So it's a 0/0 creature that costs 2 and a green to cast, and it says Fertilid enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. And for 1 and a green, remove a +1/+1 counter from Fertilid. Target player searches their library for a basic land card, puts it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffles their library. So you can kind of get some land drawing out of this as well. Then we have a Grim Dancer, the first uncommon from Ikoria packs. So it's a black uncommon creature, a nightmare. It costs 1 and 2 black to cast, and it's a 3/3 creature. It says Grim Dancer enters the battlefield with your choice of 2 different counters on it from among Menace, Death Touch, and Lifelink. And again, I do like that ability that you can actually just choose whatever it is that you want it to have for extra abilities. Then we have Migration Path. So a green uncommon sorcery that costs 3 and a green to cast, and it says search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tab, then shuffle your library, and it has cycling for 2. And then we have a crystal. We have a Idatha crystal. So it's a uncommon artifact that costs 3 to cast, and for tapping it you can add either a white, a black, or a green to your mana pool, and it has cycling for 2. And then we have for the rare a Slither Wisp. So it's a multicolor rare creature, a elemental nightmare that costs a blue and 2 black to cast, It's a 3/2 creature. It has flash, and it says whenever you cast another spell that has flash, you draw a card, and each opponent loses one life. Sorry, not two. That was kind of wishful thinking, I think there. But that's kind of a cool ability. And then we have a Swampy, and ooh, we do have a foil here. So we have a General's Enforcer, a uncommon multicolor creature, a human soldier, a 2/3, and it says legendary humans you control have indestructible. So pretty cool for a legendary human deck, I guess. And it says for 2 and a it cost a 1 white and 1 black to cast. And it says for 2 and a white and a black, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. So, and it is a foil, and again, I do like the foiling of these because it's just the just some of the details. As you can see, I think I can kind of like do it like that. There, you should be able to do it there. Pretty cool. All right, and then we have a human soldier token. Oh, just move these up a bit so they get into frame. There we go. All right, let's get into the last pack of the stream, the 34th pack from the Ikoria booster box. Yep, there we go. All right, so we have a common green instant, the Ram Through. So it cost 1 and a green to cast, and it says target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. If the creature you control has trample, excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. So pretty cool for those giant creatures and kind of a sneak attack. Then we have the Frost Lynx. So it's a blue common creature, and it's a 2/2 elemental cat that costs 2 and a blue to cast, and it says when Frost Lynx enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap it during its controller's next untap step. So pretty cool to again neutralize an enemy creature there, or an opponent's creature, rather, should say. Enemy sounds so aggressive. All right, then we have a red common creature, the Spell Eater Wolverine. So it's a 3/2 Wolverine that costs 2 and a red to cast, and it says Spell Eater Wolverine has double strike as long as there are 3 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard. So make sure to get those instants and sorceries in your graveyard before you cast this. Then we have a Helica Glider. So it's a white common creature, a nightmare squirrel. It's a 2/2 that costs 2 and a white to cast, and it says Helica Glider enters the battlefield with your choice of a flying counter or a first strike counter on it. Again, I do love that ability for you to choose which ability it is when you're casting it. Then we have the Serrated Scorpion, a black common creature, a scorpion. It's a 1/2 creature that costs 1 to cast, and it says when Serrated Scorpion dies, it deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. So pretty cool incentive for your opponents not to kill this thing. Then we have a Greater Sandworm. it's a green common creature, a worm. It costs 5 and 2 green to cast. It's a 7/7. And it says Greater Sandworm can't be blocked by creatures with powers 2 or less. And it also says cycling for 2. So this is actually pretty good if your opponents only have small creatures. Oh, and then we have one of the full art kind of the comic cards here, the Cavern Whisperer. So this is a common creature, a nightmare. It's a 4/4 creature that costs 4 and a black to cast, and it has mutate for 3 and a black. It has menace, and it says whenever this card mutates, each opponent discards a card. Okay, pretty cool. But as you can see, it's kind of a cool full art on that one. I do believe I have one of these already, but I do enjoy the full art, especially among the common cards as well. It kind of makes it more fun to open the booster packs when you know there's a chance you can get the full art cards as well. All right, we have Essence Scatter. So it's a blue common instant, cost 1 and a blue to cast, and it says counter target creature spell. So it's a counter spell. Then we have a green common, the Fertilid again. So the creature elemental creature there. Then we have Crustacean. So this is a blue common creature, a crab. It's a 1/6. It costs 3 and a blue to cast, and it has flash. So pretty cool little blocker there. And then we have for the uncommon, we have a Spirit Dragon? Sprite Dragon? Spirit Dragon? It's not Spirit, so it's Sprite Dragon. Sprite Dragon? Yeah, Sprite Dragon. It's a multicolor uncommon creature, a fairy dragon. It's a 1/1 that costs 1 blue and 1 red to cast, and it has flying and haste, and it says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Sprite Dragon. So again, it could boost that dragon pretty fast. And then we have a blue uncommon creature, a frog. It's the Polywalk Symbiote. So it's a 1/3 creature that costs 1 and a blue to cast, and it says each creature spell you cast costs 1 less to cast if it has mutate. And it also says whenever you cast a creature spell, if it has mutate, draw a card, then discard a card. So for those mutate decks, mutate abilities. Then we have another Migration Path, a uncommon green sorcery there. And for the rare, we have a Unpredictable Cyclone. So a red rare enchantment. It costs 3 and 2 red to cast, and it says if a cycling ability of another non-land card would cause you to draw a card, instead exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a card that shares a card type with the cycled card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then put the exiled cards that weren't cast this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. And it has cycling for 2. So that is a lot of text for one card. But it kind of sounds kind of cool for a cycling deck, I guess. And then we have the Windscar Crag, so a common land. Enters the battlefield tapped, you gain 1 life, and you can either add a red or a white mana. And then we have a human token. All right, so this was the contents of the 33rd and 34th pack from the Ikoria booster box, and also the contents of the packs from Throne of Eldraine and Theros Beyond D from the bundle packs as well. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, and if you have any comments for me, please leave a comment in the comment section. If you are interested in upcoming streams, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. But I think we drew some pretty good cards this time. I'm pretty excited about the Shadow Spear, especially because that is kind of cool. And well, yeah, I can always get into the different cards in a different video. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.